If you ever want the perfect pound cake, we've got it, and it's Ina Garten's perfect pound cake recipe. So what you're going to need today is heavy whipping cream, pan release. I'm going to make cake flour out of all-purpose flour and cornstarch. You need a really good vanilla or vanilla bean paste, sugar, salt, butter, the zest of an orange, and 6 eggs. To get started with this recipe, you will not preheat the oven. The oven needs to be cold. This is what makes this amazing, I think. Want to put your rack into the middle shelf, and we're going to make cake flour. If you have cake flour, great. Get 3 cups of it ready. If you don't, you can make it like I am out of a cup of all-purpose flour minus 2 tablespoons. And then you're going to add back 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. The cornstarch has no gluten, so it lightens the flour and gives it a more delicate crumb like you would get from a cake flour. So we're literally making it 1 cup at a time. So you'll repeat this 2 more times for 3 cups. And you're going to want to sift that cornstarch through the flour. And again, you'll do it 2 more times. There we go. And once we get that done, we're going to sift all of it again with some salt 3 more times. So there's a lot of sifting that goes on here. So go ahead and take your flour, sift it. This is our first time for the flour, and then we're going to add a teaspoon of salt and sift that in. We just add 1 teaspoon, but we're going to sift the mixture 2 more times. This again helps to get this beautiful, delicate crumb in the end. So once you're through, you can put your flour back into a bowl, and we'll get started with the rest of the recipe. Perfect. Now we'll get the pans ready. You can use 2 loaf pans or 1 tube pan, like an angel food cake pan, and we're going to spray that with spray release. So spray it quite well. I'm using a pan release that actually has a little flour added to it. Then we're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar in the raw, or turbinado sugar. If you don't have this, you can use regular sugar, but this is going to add a really caramely crust to the bottom of the cake. This is basically a large crystalled sugar that's less refined. So you want to sprinkle it around the edges so that it clings to your pan release. This is outstanding because it does caramelize and makes the crust really nice, but the cake itself is tender. So once you get those done, you can set them aside, and then we're going to go ahead and use a stand mixer with a paddle attachment. You could use a hand mixer, but you're going to be standing there a while because we need to beat a lot. So we're going to start with 1 cup of softened butter. I'm using unsalted butter. I believe you could use salted butter. There is not a lot of salt in the recipe itself. So we'll go ahead and take the 1 cup or 2 sticks of butter into the stand mixer, and we're adding 2½ cups of sugar. And we're going to start on lower speed, but of course eventually we'll increase the speed, and we're going to beat for 5 minutes until we get that beautiful, soft, fluffy mixture. You can scrape the sides down a time or 2, and it's already looking great, smelling great. And then we're going to add 6 eggs, 1 at a time. So we want to beat between each egg. You can turn up the mixture a little bit. We'll get those all mixed in, getting very creamy, very smooth. And then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla, or again, I use vanilla bean paste. Some people would use vanilla and the inside of a vanilla bean. If you'd like to use that, you could as well. Mix that in well, and then we're going to add the zest of an orange. It's about 1 to 2 teaspoons. Gives this cake another delicious layer of flavor. And beat that in well. And then we're going to add our flour mixture. Scrape the sides down well. And then we're going to add the flour, alternating it with our last ingredient, which is heavy whipping cream. So we want to start with the flour, and we're using a cup of heavy whipping cream, and we're going to add that second, and then we're going to keep alternating, ending with the flour as well. This is our last little batch of flour we're going to add here at the end. And we're beating slowly between each mixture. And then once that's all in, scrape it down well, increase the speed, and beat for 3 more minutes. And I would set a timer on this. Once that's done, you can remove the paddle, scrape it down, and we're ready to place the batter into the pans. So we'll go ahead and do that, and evenly as you can. These turned out really well. I've made this recipe before, and it's really nice because you can eat one, freeze one, have one for guests. Keeps a long time in the freezer, and it just thaws well, and it is absolutely fantastic. You will never use another pound cake recipe after you make this one. So we'll get it all scraped down nicely into the pans, and then we're going to go ahead and place them into that cold oven as we talked about. And this part, I think, does make this recipe quite unique, using that cold oven method. Perfect. Pretty even, looking great. So we're going to go ahead and pop them into that oven on that center shelf. And we're going to bake 350 degrees. So we're going to turn it on now. And it's going to take about 50 to 55 minutes, or until the toothpick comes out clean. And wow, look at these. They're cooled. They're ready to pop off the pan. And oh my goodness, the smell is just caramelized and fantastic. You just know this is going to be good before you even take a bite. I'm going to go ahead and slice the end off. You can hear the crunchiness of that end piece, but it's so tender. And look at that crumb on the inside. It's just beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and put some strawberries on this today. You know, you could use strawberries, blueberries, peaches, anything you have. You could eat it plain, of course, or with some butter on it. It's the best. I just can't say enough about this recipe. Ina's recipes, especially for her desserts, are outstanding. Make it. You can't go wrong. Enjoy.